That's the first thing I'm going to talk about is why is it a practice? Now remember, what we're going to do here is we're going to be doing the assessment, right? We're going to be doing that in the first week of term 4, yeah? And that's the big one where you're going to write it yourself, and that's the one that's going to be graded. You're also going to have a practice one that I'm going to grade. And this one is your practice one, which you're going to grade each other's. Okay? So just to get you, because the format is so, it is not a difficult thing to do is to perform the experiments, right? But the way it's written up has to be so precise in order for you to get even an achieved that you need to have some practice doing it, right? All right, so that's what we're going to do is we're going to look at our practice internal assessment. So if you look on page 50 of your book, that's where we're going to get this assessment from. We're all going to do the same one, and as a matter of fact, you're all going to be able to work together. Can you do that one? No. Come on. Focus. So on page 50, you're going to find the experiment. We're all going to do the same one so that way we can have the same experience, right? Now, here's the deal. You're going to design your experiment. There's several questions going to be answered using this, and we'll talk a little bit so you can have, some idea, but that doesn't mean you all steal mine, okay? Then we're going to talk about how to design the experiment and write up how you will perform the experiment, etc. And you can do that as a group, working together. But when it comes time to write the actual paper and conclusion and all of that, you can do that on your own, okay? Now, so just like you'll have to when you do the actual paper. Because in reality, when you're doing the practice internal, the one that I'm going to grade, and the other one that we're going to have that's your final grade for the whole project, technically you could work together on that as well, right? Because remember, you're all going to have a week of class to work on that, and then you're going to have some time over the break you might work on experiments. So that part of it, putting it all together, absolutely you could work together. Now, we will be running your papers, your finished papers through Turnitin. So if you write the paper together, Turnitin will catch you. Remember, 3 words in a row is plagiarism. So it's very good at finding out. So don't just think, oh, well, I'll just change this sentence that I stole from somebody else. That's not the way it works. So we're going to run it through the system so that it can. 3 words in a row, it'll flag it. Look at this sentence.
Or is it in today?
So if they match. Yeah.
That's why it picks up some random ones sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it picks up stuff.
Sometimes it says that we're copying each other because we write so similarly.
Right, and remember, it's going to flag a lot of things because there are a lot of words that we're forcing you all to write. I wonder, right? So, but anyway, so you're going to be writing your own thing at the end. So make sure you're aware of that. All right, so let's look at this assessment and just talk about what they're asking you to do. So what you're going to be studying here is something known as the Stoop effect. Stoop was an actual person, and did you? Good. Okay, so you're already in the know then. So did all of you do this same one last year? Okay, well, I don't know why they picked this one then, but oh well. Nope, you didn't do it. Okay, good. One newbie. So anyway, so let's move on. So the effect is that if you show somebody a word, or even it could be lots of different things, but you do something to the word that makes them not be able to see the actual meaning, right? So if you look on those cards that they give you, and you can use these cards, you can develop your own, you can do whatever you want to for the thing. Like if red is written in blue ink, and you ask somebody what color it is, many times people will say red, right? They'll be reading the word instead of looking at the color. So you see that, but if red was written in red ink, it's not a problem, yeah? So there's no conflict there. And that's called the Stoop effect. So you'll be able to change change words or change, and you'll see that you have several different cards here. So we have the first card where there's no conflict at all. If blue is written in blue ink. Then the second one, they're all mixed together. On the third one, they're all written in black. And then on the fourth card, there are no words, they're just colors. So you can use any of those you want to design your experiment, right? Because remember, your experiment needs to have a control and it needs to have a treatment group, right? You can design this experiment in any way that you like. For example, an exception is, I wonder if writing the words for colors in different colors will affect the way people see them, right? And you could be testing the word or you could be testing the color. So there are lots of experiments that could happen here. Or another one could be, I wonder if people can memorize a list of colors better if the word is written in the color, or if the word is, you see what I'm saying? Or so there are tons of different ways you can look at this and design an experiment. Your job is to research one type, and you can use the flashcards if you want to. Again, you could create something online, whatever you want to do. You must follow that checklist I gave you. Remember, I made you look at it yesterday? So I know you all have one. Excellent. You must follow the checklist so that you'll know that you're getting everything that you need when you write your final paper. Okay? Identify the variables you're going to investigate and write the investigation. So there are your steps that you're going to follow. And write a plan. How are you going to select the units? Who are you going to use as your target audience? Right? Your sample, your population, actually, sorry. Your population. Who's your population going to be? And again, Mrs. Milne has said that we can go and survey her class if we want to do this, because we're going to be doing this mostly in class. You can certainly work on experiment outside of class, though, right? If you have some time and you want to just stop some people in the hall or do it at lunch or whatever you want to do. You can also work on each other, but working on each other is not going to give you very good results. Why? Yeah, you know what's going on, right? You need to try to find a population or a sample of people who don't know. Now, if you're going to do it just randomly in the halls, then you need to name that as your population. My population is a random selection of students at Queen Margaret, right? If you're going to go survey a class of year 11s, then that's what you need to make sure your population is. So make sure that you're very specific about it, because later you're going to add an appendix that has all the evidence in it, right? And so you don't want to say something and at first, this is the way I designed the experiment, but this is where I actually got my data, right? So make sure that you're consistent as you go. Then you're going to submit your investigative question and your written plan for feedback. Just so that we can look at it and say, yeah, that's a good question. Yes, it's in the right format, right? But again, we're doing this as teams, so what you're going to do is y'all will write a question, and then you can just trade and grade, ask each other, because it's really good experience to be able to say, try to look at someone else's paper and figure it out. Then you're going to write your report, and you know what all goes in there, including the appendix. Make sure you get those down. All right? So that's what we're going to work on in class. Y'all are going to simply start by deciding what experiment you're going to do with this information. Write your question, right? And then think about who your population is going to be. How are you going to do random samples, right? Are you going to just flash these up and let the whole class write something down? You're going to go individually. If you do it in class and just ask each person to say something, then that might have some effect. You need to think about the confounding variables, etc. Okay? All right. Well then, let's get started.
How much is